Keloland SportsZone Saturday starts now.
It's a big sports weekend with college football, the Sanford International, and more. Welcome to SportsZone Saturday. I'm Grant Sweeter alongside Anya Joseph.
Today we're talking football and golf as it's one of the bigger sports in this weekend in South Dakota. But first, here's a look at what we have planned for you this morning.
First, we'll talk with SDSU as they're taking their talents on the road to play at Target Field against Drake. Then we talk more football as we hear from USD, who's back home in the Dakota Dome again.
Later, we talk Sanford International as a local golfer is hoping to make some noise this weekend. And finally, we'll have highlights from the gridiron as we dive into football action from Friday night.
And before we get to those stories, let's first take a look at the top sports headlines from the past week. The second round of the All-City Golf Tournament was held Tuesday, picking it up at hole 3. That's O'Gorman's Tatum Mooney, who sinks in the nice birdie putt. He ended the day in first at 4 under par. Moving to another night, it's hole number 5, Liam Sarmiento. His third shot's going to be just shy of the cup, though he'd later send it in for par. He earned third, shooting 1 over, carding 73 on the afternoon. Next hole, it's Lincoln's Tyson Blom on the par 5. He'll make this par short and sweet. He finished 13th at 21 over par. And back to hole number 5, where Jaden Antonin of O'Gorman is dropping this one for par. He shot even par on the day, granting him second place. On the team scoreboard, it's O'Gorman who holds a 59-stroke lead ahead of second place Lincoln. Jefferson sits third, followed by Washington and Roosevelt. Well, a local college coach played in the USGA Mid-Amateur Championship. SDSU men's golf coach Parker Edens played for a chance to play in the Masters. Edens shot 3 over in stroke play and later advanced through match play all the way up to the quarterfinals. Parker suffered a 2-hole loss in the quarterfinals Wednesday, ending his strong run in New York.
The Minnesota Vikings opened the season with a tough 20-17 loss to Tampa Bay, and that start got worse with another loss on Thursday night. Minnesota turned the ball over 4 times in the 34-28 loss. The Vikings now have 7 turnovers in their first 2 games. They'll host the Chargers a week from Sunday at noon.
Well, SDSU's football team escaped Saturday's top 5 showdown with a 20-16 win over Montana State. Now the Jacks preparing for their next game as they hit the road for Minneapolis. SDSU is now 2-0 on the year following their early season test against number 3 in the country.
I think it's important to be challenged so you kind of are prepared for what the Missouri Valley has in store for you, and I think that is a really good football team. They played extremely hard, and I'm just excited to come out with a win.
The Jacks will now load up and hit the road for a home game on Saturday at Target Field, home of the Minnesota Twins.
It's just exciting to play at a different venue for one, and a place that's huge for us in recruiting, but also just Target Field and what that experience will be like. I feel like the guys will enjoy it, and it'll be a really cool experience for them. We're going to embrace every bit of it and enjoy the moment while we're there and have fun competing against a good football team.
SDSU will cross paths with Drake, an FCS team from the Pioneer Football League, who is off to an 0-2 start.
I know they're doing everything they can to prepare for us, and we need to do the same. At the end of the day, we need to play our best football regardless of where we play. And you work all year long for these opportunities. To take a game for granted, we're not going to do that.
Saturday will be a chance for the Jackrabbits to stay unbeaten while also sharing their brand at a nationally known facility.
It is a continued brand of seeing the Jackrabbit logo. You know, it's our men's basketball team, it's our women's basketball team, it's our wrestling team. It's South Dakota State athletics, and we're blessed to be a part of being able to represent South Dakota State football on a national stage like that.
SDSU and Drake will meet today at 2:30. You can follow the action in our live blog on Keloland.com.
The USD football outscored St. Thomas by 17 points last Saturday on their way to a 24-0 rout of the Tommies. Now the Yotes return home for another non-conference game. Nick Gaze was named the FCS National Defensive Player of the Week after a dominant defensive performance. The defensive lineman tallied 3 sacks and 7 total tackles, 5 of which were tackles for loss.
We weren't 100% sure that he was going to be able to go, and if he did go, if he would be full speed or not. And, fortunately, he was in a position where he could go and took advantage of that opportunity.
Now the Coyotes are preparing to host Lamar, a team which features unpredictability offensively.
Lamar is going to be one of those teams that's going to throw RPOs. They're going to spread the field a little bit more. Spread running game that forces you to do things differently defensively than we did last week.
South Dakota finished with 106 yards on the ground against St. Thomas. Redshirt sophomore Nate Thomas rushed for 7 yards a carry and a score.
It was good to see Nate get in there and play well. We've been trying to, make sure that he's confident and ready to go, and I think he demonstrated that he's without question, ready to go.
This stretch of the season features plenty of football at the Dakota Dome as USD is home for 3 of their next 4 games.
It's funny the way our schedule has worked. We haven't had a lot of situations where we got back-to-back home games, and I think we have it twice in this year's schedule. You got to play well at home and find ways to win on the road.
USD and Lamar will meet today, and the Dakota Dome kickoff is set for 1 p.m.
Well, the Sanford International began on Friday. We're going to hear from a pair of players in the tournament up next. But before we go, our newest segment features our weekly trivia question. This week's question about the Sanford International. The annual event signed an extension with the Minnehaha Country Club earlier this year. How long is that extension? Stay tuned for the answer coming up near the top of the hour.